none should be granted for sure. He still ain't judged on that. These people are still just submitting stuff, changing stuff. At this point, and people laugh and say that's the standard. Yeah, but it's standard when you don't have strong grounds to say, hey, you should kick all this out. They ain't proved nothing. And the judge would be a smarter person. You wouldn't have to confuse the jurors with any of this. The judge should know the law and be reasonable. Say, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, prosecution, you haven't really proved anything. You threw some people out that you coached. He should be real with them. You know what I'm saying? You don't coach these people. The defense broke through their walls and showed the world that there's, some truth to what they saying. But you can tell 99 truths and one lie. You're a liar. Okay? So he should be smart enough to even just dismiss this and move on. Because something, for real, somebody probably need to do some time. I had to pay back some of our federal tax money for wasting this money on these raids, where it's real people out there being trafficked. But no, we don't want to go and do real work. We just want to make a name for ourselves and look good on TV. Things are sort of quiet right now. Won't we have people land on this roof, pull up by sea, and have some
change? No, Sharrell, it was yesterday. They just talked about it on CNN. Love you both. Thank you, Lorraine. I mean, sorry, Beatrice.
Yeah,
it's a long day and they ain't even get started.
So that's the whole thing. But on a serious note, I want to say this: like we have one of our big members that follow us a lot, be in the chat, Natasha. Her father is ill. She's going to see him. Things ain't looking good. But let's keep her and her family in our prayers. And I don't want to get into what all the things is about that, but just keep him in his prayers. It's not looking good.
So you stick to your predictions. You think he's gonna why are you laughing?
Why wouldn't I stick to mine right now? Like, if I stuck with it yesterday, with the prosecution feeling good, feeling privileged, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. They felt privileged. They thought they had something in the bag. They thought they had a lot of people food. But then they started to get worried when the defense popped up and let them know, you know what? We do get the last word here. So when we go to this closing thing, if you even get there, y'all gonna state what y'all want to state, and I'm gonna come back and clean house. Because people understand real. Not all this Mayberry talk, little picket fence, all these little weird theories the prosecution got. Because maybe for real, the prosecution, what they probably really need, instead of the attention of winning a big case like that, they probably needed to attend a freak off. What you think? They probably needed to attend a good freak off.
My brain is not even working right now. My brain isn't even working right now.
Yeah, but anyway, so, but the court didn't supposed to really come in to about at least noon,
right?
Everything ready, and then hopefully we was hoping that he would either make a judgment on Rule 29, which I just, for real, I thought yesterday. Well, I still think the same thing, that he gonna reject Rule 29.
So this is what I'm thinking we should do. I'm thinking we should be live, right? Like we are right now, for at least 4 hours. But like a relaxed live. If you want to go get something to eat, you can come back, and we're steady checking for updates.
Oh, you talking to me?
Oh, you talking to the chat? Everybody. Oh.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. And I will be back. I'm gonna go make me some coffee though. Oh, somebody said, can you do a call in?
Yeah.
Because I'll be right back.
Okay.
I need this coffee, people. But people, look.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I didn't finish setting it up the right way. I didn't do the second page.
I think I set the rest of it up, I think.
You did?
I went through some of it, yeah.
Okay. Hold on 1 second, guys. I will drop the link.
And I didn't tell people to make sure they hit the like button, but because I was so excited excited, I went right to, do you think Diddy coming home? Let me see what that poll said, by the way. Oh. Let me see. Get out of here.
This is it. Grand finale of Ford employee pricing at Bob Thomas Ford. Last chance to get the Ford employee discount across a full lineup of Ford SUVs, plus rebates. Payments as low as $319 a month for a new Ford Escape, only $409 for a Big Bend Bronco Sport, and only $469 for a new Explorer. Let freedom ring. Ford employee pricing for everyone. But hurry, these are the final few days of employee prices at Ford's regional headquarters. Bob Thomas Ford, north on Coliseum, west on Illinois.
There's a better way to save on work travel. Book your work travel on Engine to find exclusive deals and save up to 60% on hotels and extended stays. Wherever your work takes you, save big on work travel.
Oh. Hold on, guys. I'm still setting up. Oh boy. Lots going on. Yeah, we'll see you, Beatrice. We're just going to keep it like this all day, in and out, because it's going to be a long day. You just found out I'm anemic. I'm bleeding from somewhere, and they got to find out where I'm bleeding from. So I'll be back later. Okay, go take care of that. Wow, that's scary. Anemic is when, I think it's red blood cells are low. Judge Perry, Diddy gave up some additional information. He is guilty and RICO was proven. All right. You want me to bring you up now, Trav? No, I'm talking. Hey, Travis, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Auntie?
Good.
Today, what a day, what a day, what a day. Remember last week when I told you my nephew had the same thing? The prosecutors threw out a bunch of the charges. And
I remember
stuff
clearly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And remember I was telling you all these experts that's all on these YouTube channels and these attorneys that's only doing these attorneys that I see that they call as attorneys where they put them on these TV shows and these talk shows
Right.
and stuff.
Uh-huh.
They only number like accidents attorneys and stuff. I have a accident attorney, and she told me, well, she's my civil attorney, and she told me, look, if you get me on the stand for anything criminal, you going to jail. So I don't trust any one of them. But the thing is, though, the defense put up a good fight. I'm glad that he didn't bring any witness in because that's what the prosecution wanted, so they can tear his case down, so they can get some stuff to stick or put other stuff back into the evidence that they couldn't get in. So I really think that his defense did a good job. I'm not saying Diddy is a good person, but I don't think he should be getting charged for them charges and sent away for 25 years. That is not right.
Do you think it's a good sign if they can get the judge to simplify the instructions?
Yes, it's a good sign if they can get the judge to simplify the instruction. But all in all, I just have a good feeling if they do it or not, that he's not going to get found guilty on RICO. And with these 3 charges getting thrown out, it's a good chance that Diddy would only get probably a year on serve, and he'll probably be home in the next 2 or 3 months. Because you got to look at it. He don't have any charges. Yeah, his time served, and what you got to look at, once you take that RICO off, he don't have no points in the feds. That meaning he don't have no criminal background with charges that he's been convicted of. So that alone, they're gonna strengthen him, putting him in a tier 1, and that he'll probably be home in 2 or 3 months, or he might walk right out the door before 4th of July. So that's what the defense was fighting for. So they got 65% of what they wanted. They got 1 or 2 more things that the jury have to say, no, we don't find him guilty, and he out the door.
He's out the door. You've been watching Perry. That's what he keeps thinking. He keeps feeling that. So
Perry, my boy. But only thing is with Diddy, he need to go, get him some real counseling and help. And it stems back. It stems way back from when he was dealing with that stuff in 93 and 94. People don't want to believe that, like, when they put that man and Biggie on that magazine and started that East Coast, West Coast war, and that man was paranoid for his life, including with Biggie too, and people don't understand. People will put you into something that you're not even ready for. And that set up paranoid, and that, I guarantee you, that's when his life changed. And I'm not saying about all of these so crazy, freaky, kinky stuff that he's doing, but he don't trust nobody. But the thing is, I don't think Diddy is a bad person, because you got to look at it. He gave everybody chances. They steal from him. He let them come back. They lose their job. He let them come back. So I'm not saying he is 100% bad person, but he have anger issues, and he need to fix that.
He has sex issues, don't you think?
Oh, he's a Scorpio. But the thing is, I'm gonna tell you something about a Scorpio. I'm gonna tell you something, because one of these bloggers there was talking about the last witness, she a Gemini, and she gonna throw the one thing I know about a Scorpio, because I'm one, you never know what tricks they have in the bag, and they don't forget shit. So that's why when you seen him taking notes, he was ahead of his case, because he didn't forget nothing. He knew the case. He knew what the prosecution was gonna do. He knew what the witness was gonna say. He knew it ins and outs, so you couldn't fool him. So the thing is, this ain't surprising these charges got thrown out. And I think what's gonna happen once he get charged with something, 47 gonna go ahead and pardon him, just like he did YB. That's what's gonna happen.
Like he did who?
YB, young boy.
Oh yeah,
NBA young boy. That's exactly what's gonna happen. That's why when he was in court, he smiled and he told the judge what he told him, and he kind of smirked a little
Remember
bit.
that?
Oh yeah, it's all he already knew. You think for 1 minute that before he got locked up, he ain't made that connection with 47? That was already done.
Let me ask you a question about 47. Will he lose his base if he pardoned Diddy?
Did he lose his base?
No, he wouldn't lose. He wouldn't lose his base, because he has blind followers.
Yeah, what? He has what?
He has blind followers.
No, you think that his base is gonna be down with him pardoning Diddy? They want Diddy locked up for life.
I
don't think his base is aware of this case. I think, like I said, he has blind followers.
I agree with that too.
Yeah,
he have a lot of blind followers.
He don't care about that.
Right. And I'm going to say this real quick and get off, because I did come over to Perry's side. It took me a minute, but I did. I got what he was saying when I started seeing what was actually going on. Charge him for DV. Nobody liked what we saw. We hated that. I was married to my husband many years before he passed. My husband never, ever even thought about raising his hands, let alone his voice towards me. And anytime we see a woman go through what we saw, we all were compassionate about what we saw. But he wasn't charged for that. And all the other charges that they made, they should have they shouldn't have charged him for that. And I don't care what nobody say. I truly believe there was more, and there were more famous people that they may have had video or information, but because they would have took down not all of Hollywood, but half of Hollywood. So that could not come out. So they danced around the issues and they showed us what he did on his personal life. But a lot of those women that were with him, even though you felt sorry for Cassie, what she went through, and the other women, however, they were there for status. If he hadn't have got caught, they still would have been there.
Now they're saying that there's an older Black woman on the jury, 75 years old, very squirmish when she was forced to watch the P tapes, right? What was the purpose of letting them watch PORN?
Well, because they want people's.
Yeah, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
They
Did what they did. That was their business.
Yeah. So I just like to say,
that was the reason that they seen it. I would have turned my head. I wouldn't have wanted to see that stuff.
Yeah.
It would have made me gag.
I mean, it was days. It was uncomfortable. They said it was very graphic. You know, Perry jokes around, but very much like he explained, that's a lot. What were you saying, Travis?
no, that was me.
That was the other guy.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay, so I just like to say you guys are doing a great job. I'm Salih 44 by the way. Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
with Terry a lot. However, I just like to say this to everybody in the chat, and just so they can get to understand that. Listen, Black people are experts at RICO. Let's just get this out the way. We live in cities, small towns all over America where they have scooped up Black men in the 90s and the 80s and the 2000s, 10, 20, 30 at a time. They locked up in federal prison for RICO cases. We have sat in RICO cases about the last 20 to 30 years. And our family members are in there. Some of them are family members. You got mothers, grandmothers, and aunts in jail in RICO cases right now that Obama let some of them go at some time. I just want people to just really understand what be going on in these federal courtrooms. These federal courtrooms that have these RICO cases that have gotten us. We've seen these prosecutors all over the United States. Now, when you get in a federal case, they can lock you up in every state. They can lock you up in Guantanamo Bay if they want to. So what these prosecutors are doing, and when we ask these questions about, have any of these what you call these people that come on TV, have they ever tried a RICO case? These people up here talking about RICO case never have tried a RICO case.
Amen.
We listen to people on law and crime. These people running up there talking, oh yeah, he's got this, he's got that. I'm like, I've sat in federal prison, watched RICO happen. They ram this stuff through. They ram RICO cases, throw all this stuff in there like that. But I've never seen one with a one-man RICO where you give everybody immunity. Everybody, I mean, there's people gonna get immunity in a case about just bringing some in. But I've seen RICO cases with over 100 people in it, and maybe like 30 of them might fall. But just imagine that 30. You got everybody with a RICO case. This is a white supremacy case. And you'll never get another case like this right here, where you're gonna get that many people to turn on one man and one man sitting there just watching it, and then you turn around and drop the cases. You never drop parts of a RICO case because you won't have a RICO case. This is a catch-all case. Catch him on anything with all women on one side. How can you expect black people that have been sitting in RICO cases all over the United States telling you that this is not a RICO case? People laughing at us. They laughing at our grandmothers, our aunts, our uncles, talking about these people don't know what they're talking about when we have filled the federal prisons. We're locked up in there. It's 10 to life. Oh, look at a RICO case with drugs. It's 10 to life.
Yeah.
10 to life. So what is this happening right here? This is outrageous what they have brought. They doing that to us is absolutely incredible. I've never seen nothing like this. When women stood up there and put that case up there with 7 women, do you think that's not by design? 7 women bringing a RICO case? All of them. I mean, come on. You'll never see that again ever. Because look at them, they're dropping right now, and they're still trying to push the RICO. They dropped three charges, but they still need the RICO because the RICO is a catch-all thing. But then they want to maybe get this or maybe get that. We should be disgusted right now. They said RICO. How you gonna drop three charges on a RICO case? But you still want to push it. So who's gonna accept it? Nobody black. But everybody else will try to find some way to give him some charge off dropping charges off a RICO case. A RICO cases get you with anything. So why you dropping 3? He should walk today.
Well,
but
the
they
thing
let it go because they don't want these prosecutors to look like that.
Right.
Well, the thing is, what I tried to remember, Miss Sharrell, when I told you I never, ever, ever in my life seen Homeland Security activate on any federal case, delete an investigation. Remember, I told you that, and now it's starting to come out. So when Homeland Security came out, they deal with terrorism and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They will assist with a federal FBI case, but not lead it. So when it came to the guns and the pictures and all that, them Diddy attorneys just ate them up because they made so many errors, and that's why they looking stupid. They sent a little chihuahua to do a dog fight. See, now if there was some stuff where you going to get a Chapo or you going to cross seas, yeah, you would use Homeland Security for that, but you going to use that and all of them tax dollars to go in somebody's bedroom mess, that was a waste of money and a waste of time. And you can see that they didn't gather their evidence like they needed to. So that's why the case are looking crooked and looking stupid. And they never gonna prove RICO, not the way they came.
And also, I believe what they're also trying to do, they're tarnishing his image. He helped to do that with the incident in the hotel, but they're tarnishing his image. That's the same way they did with Michael Jackson. I know a lot of people do not believe that's what they did. They tarnished his image because he had too much power. He owned half a Sony. He went in there not owning anything, but he left with ownership, and they wanted it back, and they got it back, unfortunate, after his unaliving. So that's all they're doing. They're tarnishing his image, and they better watch him to see if something does not come up happening that will happen to him. Look at what they did to Prince. Prince roaring his royalties and his records and stuff back. So here he comes up unalived. Okay, people who speak up come up unalived, and we live in a society right now. We as African Americans need to stick together. When they do it to one, they might as well do it to all.
Absolutely. They need to give him, that judge need to give him a bench summary or something about letting him go home on house arrest right now. He should have never been put in there like that right there from the beginning. These people raided all the homes. But
think about it. Go ahead.
They raided all of these homes with that other government entity, like brother just said, right? They went in there and they looked for all that stuff. They said all of that stuff. Look, I've never spoken on the Diddy trial. I don't speak stuff like that right there. This is my first. When he went to trial is when I started to talk, because I've seen what they do in federal court. And the things that you said are very, very true about black people needing to stay together. This is way bigger than just Diddy.
And you heard
Right.
Sharrell say that stuff over the weeks when she started to try to say that stuff. I am seeing something different here. This is strange. This is not right. And then you find a lot of people start coming in here saying, no, don't do that and don't say that. But you have to understand what we see. People don't like the way we view America. But we are the view of America. We the ugly side. Let's get this out the way. We are the
Yep.
ugly side sitting in the courtroom. The Constitution is written about us. You got all look here. It's the Constitution is written about somebody getting something and we not getting something. The whole thing
Right.
starts with that. So do you not think we know the law? We know the law because the law has been tried on us. They try all the new laws on us. And what they're doing to Diddy right now is trying a new law, which really repackaged as a RICO case. Perry have said it over and over again. This is not a RICO case. Black people all over the world, this is not a RICO case. But you find people that just been here maybe 1 or 2 generations. Oh yeah, it's that. Look, these people are going to take Black history classes coming from overseas. They are what you want to call, they have majors in Black history talking to us. And we walk in Black history. This is the disconnect that you have in America. We don't need a degree. That's why you have people right now that's on law and order and all the rest of these things, like Nancy Mason, all them with these degrees, but they got an agenda. But people actually going to get a degree about Black history. This is absolutely incredible. We can tell you what's happening from the past, from the future, and going forward. You saw it happen on this show. I watched this show. I watched Sharrell. I watched Perry. Look at that dynamic of husband and wife, man. That's incredible. You get to see this. You saw the way that they go back and forth and the love and the understanding they have for each other. That's really us. We don't have to agree with everything. We are the people that don't agree with a lot of this stuff. We send our people to jail, man, like this. What's wrong with these folks? We send our people to jail. We sit down all the time. We stand up for one man, and just like she said, we stand up for him. They coming after us from every corner of this world because we standing up for him, trying to call him all of this right here because they want to fantasize of a Black man having sex with 7 white women watching. Now you look, white women watching everywhere. So I'm saying like this. This is what y'all want. You want this from him. You got it. But I'm telling you, our people don't like this. But y'all, the world, y'all do like this type of stuff. Y'all like to see him go down like this right here, throwing his money away to people that don't give a damn about not one of his children or nobody Black.
Yeah.
If they take his money, they take his power.
Say, ma'am, the one that's just talking, what's your name again?
My name is Sheila.
Hey, how you doing, Miss Sheila? And to the brother that just finished talking, let me ask y'all a simple question. If y'all see a robber out in the street and y'all know a guy is a known robber, would you trust him?
No.
Okay, if you see a person that's in a store and they known a shoplifter or a booster from being around the way, if you see them in the store 9 times out of 10, you're gonna think they're a booster, right?
Correct.
Okay. My problem is with our culture, we let these Nancy Grays and all this child the category, and it's no disrespect to the 2 women that's on this panel. Me, how I view life with women or anybody, I don't put every woman in the same class. You, Miss Sharrell and the one that I can't see, y'all queens, y'all handle y'all business, y'all good people, right?
They
But
got this.
you gotta treat a we can't. We got to treat a queen like a queen. If there was queens that was up there and getting and had to go through that, I would have been down there and be like, lock his behind up. But you cannot have 304s and bring them in the courtroom and make them into good women. You treat a queen like a queen and a 304 like a 304. But you cannot sit here and wind it down a 304, and that's Diddy's fault. Get you a queen and cut the bullshit stuff. Because if you didn't have a 304 that want to hit your pockets and go sleep with that one, this one, and that one, you won't have no issues. Because the thing with 304 is in the streets, in the big world, they will sleep with your enemy behind your back and flip on you tomorrow or set you up to get hurt. And now look where he at for messing with 304s. No matter if they look innocent or not. Look at Cassie Tate. Now you hearing her talking about, she talking all kind of crap, but we ain't never heard her voice. But look at it.
Right.
She said the same statement. I would kill. I would have you killed. Whatever she said, and it want to be on my hand. But she said that Diddy said the same thing to her, and to her mom in the email. People ain't catch that. That's the psychological game. That's the game that she played. Just think about what she said. It's not I kill you. I never killed anybody, but it's not gonna be on my hands. But she said Diddy said the same thing 2 months later when she asked her mama for the money. She crazy. Nobody never. When I look at stuff, I look at everything because, like I told you, Miss Sharrell, we was fighting the feds. So you had to look at all aspects on why and what these people are doing. If you missed the dot, you missed it. They're gonna get you. And Diddy attorney did not miss no dots.
No, they did.
How long was your case?
How long is the case? Is with
Was
my
yours?
nephew?
Was your
Okay,
case?
so let me. My nephew got shot in 2024 from doing a concert.
And remember, hold on a second. You have to say GUN and just be real light with your words, okay?
Okay. My nephew got S in July of 2024. He went to the doctor when he was in the hospital. He got out. The detective brought his phone. When they brought his phone, they met him at his mom's house. They had the drones in the air. I'm watching this stuff on the Motion Discovery. They opened up a case against him. Ain't find nothing illegal stuff. They had everything that they did to him. They followed me. They knew where I worked. They put me in a paperwork as allegedly got in a black car. But guess where I was at? I was at work in a company truck at the same time, but they was careful with their words. So what they did was when they moved in on him on February, the week after Super Bowl, like I told you, Sharrell, they painted this big old picture on the news. He had like 8 charges. When I sent the attorney to his bail hearing, they threw it on the news. They erased it. Some of them charges. The DA, not the DA, the prosecution got so mad that they charged all his friends with gang ties, conspiracy, and all that. To now he only got 1 charge, gang ties. How you could just have 1 charge and you need, just like the predicate act, you need two of them.
So it happened like this case. They just started dropping charges.
They started, well, yes, they started dropping charges. When they dropped the Sears charge, she turned back around and put gang ties back on him. So that's the only charge he got. He got anger monitor on right now. They still following us around.
It's current?
Well, the charge gonna get thrown out because they don't got no case. They don't have zero.
I thought you were talking about a long time ago. You're talking about
this
now.
recent. This recent. And what I'm telling you is what they was trying to do in this Diddy case. It ain't got about Diddy. Like old boy was saying, it's about Black America, and that's why I'm saying is that's why Diddy attorney kept bringing so many case laws up. So now, when Diddy beat this, if he do beat it, if another black man go, they could bring Diddy against such and such back, and that law can be referenced and fight against the prosecution. Because if he lose, they're gonna use it right back against us. And the Diddy trial, just that and that, and everybody that's out there like to fly women out, party, get flued out, get drunk, they're gonna use the same charges against you. They don't gotta make a law. They can just use the case number. They get the case number. They don't have to make no law because it's up to interpretation at that time.
Exactly. So you can look at the federal recorder, which is the federal law books. If you look in those books, you'll see hundreds of Black people in jail with RICO cases. These RICO cases are just like prevalent in those law books. They're using none of them. They're not bringing them up. The ones that did them are bringing up. They're bringing up the substance of all of this stuff. They're trying to unravel this thing because just the sheer volume of just thinking about RICO. But if you read a RICO case, I've sat in there. I've seen people go to prison for RICO cases with 20 to 30 people on an indictment There's no drugs now, by the way. Let's just get this out of the way. The government can lock you up and never find any drugs. All they got to do is get somebody to
substances.
Right. All the thing they got to all they got to do is get somebody to say that they sold you some or they did this like that with you. And then they'll say, well, you went to your mother's house when you drove there, so now your mother is in it. And then you drove down the street and you talked to your homeboy, you gave him some that. Now next thing you know, they nothing. They don't have any real substance to these cases. They just have a whole lot of hearsay, like what they're doing on this case. So most of this stuff is done by just people talking. And you got these people talking, they're running their mouth, and then they try to make it so salacious, and it's always got unaliving in there, right? Somewhere close to unaliving, blowing up something or doing something like this. So they bring this guy Kid Cudi in there. Now they're trying to throw his out because that's what one of the counts is about, right? So they're throwing out one of those counts. They're throwing out one of those counts because it's part of a overall, what they call it, a continuing enterprise. It's a conspiracy, right? An enterprise. They have to put the enterprise on there to get something called a kingpin, right? So really what they're trying to make Puff is the kingpin. So you get the top of a kingpin, and you really try to get him first thing they did was offer him a plea. He didn't take it. They keep saying that the feds are so good and stuff like that, and they do that. They're not really good. Look, if you tell somebody you're going to give them 10 to life, and they're 18, 19 years old, 20, 22. You got a brother 15, and they're talking about, oh, well, I'm going to get your brother too, but he's 15, he's 16, all because y'all live in this house. They say that this right here is where this criminal activity is happening. When you look at these women, the same thing. If you just was to change them women and put that on their head, you would see the same thing when you got Jane Doe. Look, listen, you got all these people talking about they don't want their identity shown. They don't want anybody to know who they are. And look at these people that they're putting up here. These are some of the most terrible, despicable people you'll find. And look, these people, any crackhead walking out of a store. If you walk out of a store and you try to say things like you try to get to your car, sometimes you have like these people on the street walkers, they'll try to stop you. You can't go anywhere. You try to go to the store, you try to turn that way. Is that kidnapping? It probably would be to the feds if they won't let you to your car. I've had one lady so hard for me to get to the car, like I just gave her the money. So is she part of the RICO? This is ridiculous and real, like common sense. And what they're trying to do now is bring some common sense into an enterprise. But you want common sense from who? You're not gonna get common sense from us now. See, black people looking at it like this is ridiculous. Outrage. Everybody, well, they're dropping that one, and I see why they're doing that. And they're dropping that one. You see the mindset? See, they mind immediately flip when it comes to us too. Well, it don't really matter. He dropped that. He's still going to jail. Well, he's dropping this. He said all this stuff. This stuff have been falling apart since day one. We watched it for months talking about what's the lady name? Jaguar, right? All these people up there talking about all this stuff is happening because these people are politicians. Listen, they're politicians, and these prosecutors are politicians. They start out as politicians, then they become celebrities. All this stuff is politics and celebrity for them. But
I would say this about Jag. They really did want her to keep going. They gave her some award that they made up. The White House got involved with the Jaguar, right? Do you guys remember that?
No.
But that's the capital, the White House.
The White House at Mar-a-Lago.
But look at how they do it. They would let someone that has a mindset of hers that's not together, quote, be our spokesperson.
Right.
Hey, I want to bring something up. You know, that juror number 6.
Mhm.
You know, you see how funny the judge was like he wasn't gonna remove that juror, right? And towards the end of the day, he went on ahead and removed him off the panel, right? Yeah, that's how it happened in the order. And everybody came up with this theory. So the thing is, you got to be careful how you do things. I'm not saying that juror never lived in New York City, right? Well, what they would do, somebody say, oh, they got you do the toll, they follow you. They don't got to follow you. they got what they call a cell phone hawk call, where they can get a warrant to your phone, to your device, because you under investigation
Mhm.
when you on that panel. That hawk call would track wherever you at, where you going, who you calling, when you calling, who you texting, what social media page you on, who you talk to the most, and how long you been sitting there. So they can watch you from a police cell phone hawk call. And that's ain't nothing but a search. You can look it up. So when everybody thinking they getting away and all of this stuff, this, that, and other, them people could sit there and get right there on the computer and watch you from a cell phone. Don't mean they'll know who you're what you're talking about, what you text, but they know where you at. So when you see 30 of them pull up, they know exactly where you at from tracking you from your social media and your phone. And so I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, that's how they caught him. And reason why Diddy probably the auction got thrown out, because they cell phone tracked and hawked his phones too, because they got every number. It's so funny how you see how they can retrieve all these text messages and voicemails and all of that stuff, right? You get what I'm saying? And how I know that,
Yes.
because I seen this in my nephew's case. I never knew this stuff existed. I seen it with my own eyes doing the motion discovery on the jump drive. And I sit there and I looked at it, and the stuff is real. You get what I'm saying? So don't think that, and see that the girl, the Jane girl, you don't think the feds was already watching him? Okay, you don't think they already approached her before they moved in on her, while she was still dating him and he didn't have no knowledge?
What are
Let's be
your
real.
thoughts? What is your thoughts on Diageo?
So Diageo, well, like I explained last time, they had that morality clause in the contract. You got to be careful what you read. Ain't no other color with a Jewish person gonna sign a morality clause in their contract. He did that. So if they can stick him with this, if they can stick him with the with what he got going on, they can easily drop him with no prejudice. That's what this all about. This case is about making sure that he can't come back and hit them on any lawsuit for anything, even though the other lawsuit is over with. Let's get in with this.
Each other. They just
Hold
the
on, someone's
is just
talking in the background.
It's is it Solo Salute?
yeah,
44?
yeah. So 44.
Okay.
Yeah, the government is just right now. This is all about the government trying to protect the government and them 7 women that went up there and made this mockery of this thing, right? See, they went up there and they did that, and right now they're trying to change face. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if all them women was black, they'd be fired. I'm telling you right now, it is no way in this world you could have brought 7 women in no courtroom. They do this stuff right here and dropping it, they're gonna be gone. Because they're going to get rid of them. They're going to have to go find jobs somewhere. And I don't know where they're going to find jobs. But you cannot do this. This is spectacular failure. Look.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. How can you say that they can lose that? Let's be real now.
No.
This
what
like stuff slide downhill. They was dealt that case. Why would they?
Hey, hold up. When we have a panel, we got to go one at a time because it's hard for people to understand. So, Travis, go ahead and then give him a chance to respond to you.
Okay, what I'm saying is, you saying that the women that's prosecuting, they low hanging fruit. You got to look at what's at the top that brought the case, the grand jury and the prosecution that gave them that case. You got to realize that they had other people on this case, and when the Trump administration, before the Trump administration got in, and then it switched over to this panel. I know they look bad. I'm not taking up on them, but the thing is, that's low hanging fruit right there. You got to look at the bigger picture. We're looking at the lower picture. You got to look at the bigger picture.
Okay, can I answer?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so you always look at the bigger picture. That's why I was saying about a criminal organization. You always go for the king, but who always falls? What I'm talking about right now is the people that are the face of the organization, like a CEO. A CEO will get fired. He's not really the top. He's just somebody that got hired. They move CEO. You can move a CEO from over a food industry to another type of industry, and they just rebrand. So what they do is they get rid of the faces to save the people at the top. The people that actually did bring those cases now are saving face. They'll sacrifice them, but they won't. But right now, what they're trying to do is save their careers. Most people like this, them attorneys, they become politicians. They start running for office. Most people that's doing jobs in this world be attorneys.
Right.
You go look, these attorneys be anything they want to be, like a Rico. You might go to a store, there's an attorney. You may not know it, but attorneys are almost like what you want to call, I think Sharrell, y'all are like real estate people.
Yeah,
That's an attorney. A lot of times you can do that. You might go to the store and that's that might be a real estate person, but they're interchangeable.
So
But when
check
you
this out. Check this out. We have Angela here. I'm gonna see if her mic's fixed because she hasn't got a chance to speak. Angela, how you feel?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Perry. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You're very intelligent. But I just would like to make some points. And actually, after listening to you, I'm a paralegal. So I went back and I began to do research. So I think that you would even make a great you could have worked for the defense and you would have had very powerful closing remarks in the trial if you were actually an attorney. But I'd like to go back to the beginning when people were even saying that Mr. Diddy would not get arrested. I knew, see, this is what he did, Perry, from a legal point of view, Mr. Perry, if you could just hear me, and Queen Sharrell, how he even got into the position of being arrested is, see, this is and this is for anybody out there. Don't, if you ever get into a legal altercation, never allow them to force you to sign any kind of documents or come into agreement or settle, because when you do that, it's an inadvertent way of admitting guilt. So when he settled with Cassie, I knew that she was the smoking gun that was going to open up this portal because he settled. That was like an admission of criminal activity because he immediately settled with her. So when you do that, see, if he would have refused to settle with her, he would have never have entered this realm at all. This would never be happening. Now, I will say that, and this is all alleged, this is your channel, and I will have to, I want to say so much, but then I can't because I'm on your channel. But see, what's happening is the actual witnesses that they called in, that's what they had to work with because they couldn't call in the real high-powered witnesses. This thing goes all the way up to the political realm. So,
and I would agree. But if they couldn't do that, they shouldn't have brung this forward.
Absolutely, because now I'm embarrassed even for the legal system. See, but this is what they thought, Mr. Perry. They and I feel sorry for the prosecution. What they thought was by doing this, they were going to get the big wigs in.
Well,
and they probably yeah, go ahead.
They should have some kind of laws, and I'm sure they could subpoena and do things too with them. They just choose to do it for the people they want to do it for.
But you can't tell me. It's detrimental. This thing is so deep. I mean, I'm talking about deletions. The judge probably got an order called 608. When they get a 608, that's to throw the trial. They have to do something now to close this case out and let that man go. If like the officials, I'm talking about the powers that be, send the judge a 608, that's it. So we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. They might, because see, if Diddy is strong, he didn't give them up. See, had he gave up those big fishes, well, like Frank Lucas, his father's friend. See, if he would have turned on those big fishes, then we would have had like the case of the what do you call it, century. But but Diddy, yeah, go ahead, Miss Perry.
They probably didn't want him to turn over the big fishes. Come on. That's what me and the brothers talking about right now on this thing. They trying to find these things to come at brotherhood. Now, it could be used on anybody, but a lot of people think we on this channel, oh, Diddy squeaky clean. No, ain't neither one of us said that.
Yeah, you didn't see what I like. Okay, Mr. Perry, from as being a legal person, and I'm not really perfected in that realm, but I think I'm gonna be really good now watching the YouTubers and watching you guys. Being in the legal realm, you're absolutely right. They made the mistake. They should accuse him with something else other than the RICO. Now Monster may walk free, and trust me, because this is psychological. Now I'm not into psychology. My cousin is. She said what's going to happen is he's going to be worse than he was before because he keeps getting away with things. She said there will be probably more deletions. He's going to tie up all loose ends now, and it's just in his nature. She said he cannot change. She said Jane Doe, Cassie, all of them are in trouble. And I said, well, you don't think that he would repent and think, oh, I've escaped. Now I'm going to stop. She said, no, he's going to get worse. And then his son put out that rap saying that the feds missed the house next door, and then we had that plane in the air that got rid of all kind of. He knew they were coming, and he had.
Angela, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm going to read this. It says the prosecution offended the jury and the court. And I'm going to say this, people. I mean, because I don't want to get too sidetracked, but we're going to get back to the basis of this. This whole thing is about a charge they tried to fabricate to come after our community. This is coming from this RICO. They want to set a precedence. So what these brothers are saying, because a lot of people think, oh, Perry, you're under the law. I don't. But I know when I'm being hoodwinked, I know that. And when people
can I ask you a question?
Well, you give me a second, because you know what? I'm gonna say this. I want everybody to understand this. When these brothers come up here and tell their story, they telling you this story for a reason. Because that's what happened. And we don't want it to continue to happen. But if you sit back and let these people fabricate, oh, law and crime said they can't even properly arrest a person for stealing something from 7-Eleven. And you want to listen to these people who can't go nowhere. If they was really good, they wouldn't be on that damn panel. They'll be somewhere winning a case.
100.
Well, can I? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, give me a second. But what these brothers are talking about is real life situations. See, I ain't never went through it, but I could imagine. My wife got family members went through it. So when you hear these stories in our neighborhood, a lot of people don't hear these stories. That's why when they come up with all this crap, oh, kidnapping, Perry, come on. Let's keep it real, and now let's just keep it 100. Most people might say, yeah, I know somebody got kidnapped. No, they're forming these words with these definitions underneath where they could blankly charge you with it. You held her without restraints, right? And you wouldn't let her go against her will. Things like this. And you get people who are hell-bent on because you don't like a person's personality or what you believe they did. That's not how it works in court. You can believe a lot of things. You can believe in Santa coming down your chimney. But facts is facts. When you go to court, you're going to want the same justice. But now, let it pass. Just sit them down the river for anything. That's been our point here, is to say, look, whether you like them or not. And I have no disrespect, and I talked about the girl's character because they testified. That's evidence. So if I'm a judge the court case, I got to judge the evidence to come out and say whether I believe this or not. These girls was in a lifestyle.
Yeah.
They benefited off Diddy. Did he benefit off them? Yes. He wanted a freak on the side. That's what he got.
Terry,
yes.
After you finish, I'd like to ask you this question. Do you think they should? Well, do you think they should just let Keefe D go then? The one that they accused of deleting Tupac?
Well, if they don't have grounds to show, some evidence that he could be involved in the Emming, then probably so.
Let him go.
Yeah, I just say just let them all go and then just give them over to God, and maybe they'll. Because if I went through all this, I would just repent. But I honestly, it's like with O.J. Simpson. After all of that, they had to let him go, and I don't know if it was over the glove or not, but he eventually did something else that was lighter that he got locked up for. So
he got locked up for trying to retrieve his items from
own
a trailer.
items. That was hilarious.
So he got locked up for a lesser charge of trying to retrieve what belonged to him. So that's a perfect example of what these guys are saying what happened. I'll tell you a story. When my husband was in college, this was in the 70s, he had a roommate that was accused of raping a young white student. My husband knew he didn't do it because he was with my husband at the time. And so this guy ended up having to do 2 years. My husband literally fought for 3 years
Mm-hmm.
to get this guy released. Matter of fact, it was so important that he got this guy released. It was one of the stories they told at his funeral that he did. Um, what made me come around to what was actually going on and not what was said to our eyes, I mean, before us, is I started realizing that they had put a net out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the net was to grab one black person. Once you get one in that net, then it's easier to grab others. And I start seeing that the comicalness that Perry was trying to get us to see from the beginning and the humor that he used to make his points, he was on point. Because we have so many young black men or men in general that have been accused of stuff that are in prison and
Right.
they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And this would have been another example of them taking his money. And I'm glad that the judge, it seems like whatever happened behind the scene, the judge got the signal that it wasn't going down the way they were going to allow it to go down. Because if you notice, his demeanor has kind of changed towards Diddy.
Uh-huh.
Think
Yeah,
about that. It's changed.
right. No, I agree. Thanks, Sheila. And
I
like,
believe that they're also listening to the blog. Well, the jury can't listen to the bloggers, but I believe that
well, come on, let's
Perry might have helped a little bit because they're impressed by the bloggers now, even Law and Crime
right.
and that guy, what's his name on TMZ, the attorney.
I
don't really follow a lot of them. I follow Perry and Sharrell. The reason I follow you guys is because you're professional. Now, sometimes I might not agree with you, but I like things in order and to be professional. And you guys are very professional. With some bloggers, when I listen to them, it's like, oh my God, they didn't even do any research. This is crazy. What they're just saying things. So, but I will say this. I will like to put this out here in case they're even watching. There is a lot of mental illness that is connected to criminology. I would like to wonder if they could order. I don't know if therapy could help because Diddy does need therapy.
Hold on for a second. I got to catch up with this super chat. Mr.
Okay.
Says, my family is paying to post their comments. Then I got East Smith, Tyrone Blackburn just got arrested. It's on TMZ. Wow. I got to tell my wife about that. But anyway, people now we're gonna try to keep this. I know we're getting into this criminal stuff, but we're gonna go back to this court case because a lot of people just want to find out. There's no updates yet in court. They're apparently coming in to talk about these jury instructions coming in, and we were just trying to fill some time till they get there. Give everybody. Just
I got one more thing to say, Mr. Perry. Your friend Nosy Whole Live. I used to follow her, but sometimes she'd be a little crazy. But she did have a psychic on there, and I was like, that psychic don't know what she's talking about. And then I saw that other psychic, Sloan. I think her name is Sloan. And I'm not into all that. That's the evil world. But both of them did say that Diddy was going to go free. And I'm like, they said if he got, or was he getting arrested around? What was going on that would even make them talk? Oh, they were just talking into the future. And they did say that he was going to go free. And I don't believe in psychic stuff.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna get into the psychic stuff. We trying to get back on track to where we at with this court thing. Now, there's no updates right now. This is where we at, but we're just talking about the prosecution are starting to retreat.
Yeah.
And why it's good for us? And people are upset because they feel like, oh, Diddy's getting away with something. They should have charged Diddy properly.
Right.
They should have charged him properly. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I'm also a prayer warrior. I pray and fast. And in a meeting one time, we were praying for the hip
hey, listen, hey, fellas, look, I'm gonna drop everybody. I just want to talk to the black men right now. And
Okay.
That's fine.
no,
And I want everybody to pray for my grandson. He's over in the Middle East right now.
okay. Someone just drop you back into the thing, and we'll bring you up. Like, I just want to talk to the black guys, and no offense, ladies, but this is a black man on trial, and this is where I want to get back on point with. Right? We came on here talking about he's being overcharged. Neither one of these men saying Diddy is innocent for everything that's been alleged at him, or what you could have believed he done. Right?
Right.
It's not about that. It's not the things he's alleged that he had done. We just stand in our community, a lot of us black men, and no, people say, oh, all black men aren't kings. No, it's troublemakers in every race. But we just saying we want justice equally spread it out. Fair justice, right? So,
Right.
and how our life has been, and it's no surprise. And if you tell me you don't know nobody being black, you get charged with things other people wouldn't, then you probably live in Mayberry or you're lying to me, right? Now, fellas, let's get into this whole thing. I feel like this. Diddy should be off of these charges. These charges were souped up to be something just to make them go. What do you guys think? Should they be releasing him?
Yes,
Oh,
I think.
absolutely. Absolutely, they should be releasing him. If not releasing him, what they need to be doing right now is letting him get out on bond. That should be the least of everything that should be happening right now.
Right.
He needs to get a bond so that he can go home and get up out of that hellhole. This is crazy. He needs to be able to go home. He needs to be able to fight that, whatever monitor they want to put on him or whatever they want to do, that right there, fine, outside of just dropping this. So yeah. I do believe that he needs to be able to go home. Yes.
And that's what people don't understand. Like, and you know, because I do sit and joke and we do this stuff on this thing, but I have two boys. I knew how I grew up. I grew up in the South, North Carolina. So I definitely know how these rules been played. And yes, it's people who have gotten themselves in trouble and deserve to get what they get, but it's a lot of people who didn't. And I'm, you know, a squeaky clean pretty much with my record because I grew up that way, knowing I couldn't give them an opportunity to get me. It didn't stop me from getting pulled over or questioned, but brothers out there, do not give them a reason because they're looking for anything. You could be the next Diddy on a RICO. They would plant things on you. They would do all these things. And what I'm saying is, you get these communities, people say, oh, no, that don't happen like that, Perry. BS. That's BS. It does happen that way. And if you don't understand, because you probably ain't living in the same culture, and you get some of us people that do the same thing that come out here and oh no, you know, that's using the race card. I ain't using nothing. I'm using my experience and my opinions, right? And I'm gonna tell you something. If you start letting these kind of cases go through like this RICO, where they can just make it stick, and I'm gonna say this, and not to get political. So, fellas, if you say something, we can't say no names of nobody, like leaders and stuff like that. Just talk about this whole thing. Just like when it came down to vote. If you tell people, hey, this guy ain't got your best interest, no, yes, he do. And then you give them a pop. Like people right now just want to get Diddy because they believe he did all these bad things, or they just don't like him. But if you let them make this RICO a standard, you see how people getting deported out of the United States right now?
Mm-hmm.
Would it have been that way if they would have thought about this and not been hoodwinked into thinking, oh no, he's gonna make it great for us? Yeah, really? This RICO ain't gonna make nothing great for the brotherhood neither. It was just been setting the standard for them to be able to get everybody. Now, what you guys think about that? I'm just saying this whole Diddy case, I think personally, they don't have enough. I know they ain't gonna totally retreat and drop all the charges because they got to save face. So they gonna do anything to try to push it down. And now they care about the jurors. We want to simplify it for the jurors. Look, you would have dropped this a long time ago, and over the same witness. And then I think, who was it? Salik said, 44 said this. I think it was him that talked about in cases, it's going to be people who get immunity. But typically they'll get one person or two people of knowledge that know all the operation. If you had a RICO, those people could have got immunity. But what kind of case where you got 3 tricks with immunity? No, and no disrespect when I say that. That's what they gave me from the stand, their testimony. And I wouldn't have to judge them, but I supposed to judge their evidence. Their testimony is evidence. That's what I'm judging. And this is all you got? And you expect us to go and send this man down the river just because this person says, oh, well, Perry, all the ladies aren't lying. They ain't lying about everything. And Diddy ain't wrong about everything neither. Why should he be the only one sitting there facing time?
Yeah,
I mean,
Perry.
go ahead.
Sorry. I mean, and just by saying that, a lot of people don't understand in these federal cases, right? When you get a federal case and that you either plead guilty or you're found guilty, you know that the profession that you were in, you can never go back in. That's a part of being incarcerated with the federal government. This is 2 different entities, right? So you got the state and you got the feds. Not only would he not be able to do that work ever again, because that's part of it when you dealing with the feds. Look, the feds are international. They will arrest people that's from overseas. That's why you're talking about all these immigrants. That's federal, right? All this stuff is going to be tied up in federal. These are different laws. They call federal laws and rules for a reason. If you get trapped up in the feds, that's why they say, look, bro, we make rap songs about the feds.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say the alphabet boys, who you think that is?
Yeah. Yeah, no. And that's it. And see, that's the big point, right? And a lot of people coming into this thing, because people love gossip. You know what? And I think when you hear these wild stories on social media, you had a tendency to believe it. I'm like, yeah. I mean, and I think anybody that's messing with the kids and doing things like that should have to pay the price. I could believe he had something to do with some of these people disappearing. I do not have proof. For the people who still want to just hell bent to say he did it, you got to prove it. I can believe you did something, but I have to prove it. I'm just saying justice. Everybody wants justice, fair justice. That's it. And you can't come over here and tell me that they got blowing it up, people. A kingpin, like Rico. Let's keep it real. And I know, and people, you get these people that read these laws and stuff and dug too deep into it. Come on now, a RICO charge, a criminal enterprise, because he smoked some weed. I'm saying it was other stuff, but for personal use. They ain't had nobody testify he manufacturing anything, selling anything. That'd be a criminal enterprise, right?
No doubt.
If I was pulling in shipments. Now the man got a private plane. Why didn't he use his private plane to fly in kilos and so whatever? Come on, people. But they want to focus on baby oil. Seriously.
Yeah, bro. Like the baby oil actually was the actual, would have been the actual what shall I say, substance that was going on here in this criminal enterprise, right? Like keys and ounces and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't know we talk about, but just imagine. But that's really the baby oil. This is crazy, right? Because if you really look at it, that stuff was splashed all over the world. They made so many memes and songs and things about baby oil. They call Diddy them the baby oil boys all over the world. Now look, but when they make these conspiracies, it's not the baby oil, but it's the other stuff, right? And that's the thing. But in order to get all this RICO stuff in, you have to bring in violence, right? You have to bring in all these other things. So they brought these particular women in here to prove to us that this stuff is happening. And all of them are lying about everything. They lying here, they lying there. They getting upset about this. They getting real perturbed, and they want us to people that actually have sat in courtrooms for the last 30 years watching. And look, and this is what they don't really understand about this RICO stuff. I'm gonna try to educate these people in the world. We done had our grandmothers, uncles, aunts, cousins, and friends tied up in RICO for like the last 45 years.
Yep.
And they don't really understand that. We done been to them courtrooms. We done been in them courtrooms. We done went to the federal prison seeing our family members all over America. Look, 'cause they can ship you, right? If you get in trouble, they'll ship you to Mexico. They can ship you to Puerto Rico. They can ship you somewhere else. They can ship you to Alaska because they have federal institutions there. So when they send our family all over the place because of this or that over something, and they never even touched, we're going to call it baby oil now, right? They never even touched baby oil. You got grandma in there, uncle in there, aunt in there. They try to flip them to go against the cousin, you know what I'm saying, cross the way. And now he didn't do it. So they caught both of them in a car coming back. So they grabbed them two. Now them two in the RICO. Now you tell me, why should we even be entertaining this stuff as black people? Because they don't have our lens. And what you're trying to do is give everybody a lens into the substance of what a RICO is. I watched Law and Order a few days after I watched y'all, because y'all go to, which is a great idea to do, to give them that contrast, Terry. Thank you. But look, when I watched them, you know what they said? Now they talking about, oh, you know, well, maybe they should drop the RICO. They were talking about dropping the RICO yesterday and keeping the other stuff. Guess what happened this morning? They dropped the other stuff and kept the RICO. Now, why are they keeping it RICO? Because they have to be able to get something else in there. Right. They try to get, they need something, because that RICO is a catch-all. It's a catch-all. And you can just make up anything. Every day, kept on saying every day to explain to people that are upset about when you're trying to, when you got the kidnapping, because that's what they wrote down to that. So we're gonna say it, the kidnapping, and then they got all this stuff, and then these people be talking about grooming. I know. They say that he was grooming people that are simply walking away from where he's at, getting somebody else. Now they grooming them. Look, you got the groomers grooming somebody else, talking about, come on, baby, come on down. I got this, I'll pay for it and all this. So then they say, well, they got Stockholm syndrome. This is what happens to black men every day. Yep. You see how the goalposts keep on moving from this to maybe he was that, to maybe he was that, and maybe he was smile, maybe he was whistle, maybe he walked in, maybe his pants was down, maybe his hair didn't look right, maybe he looked. All this stuff is what we see when we see this stuff. And they could do a whole lot better. And that's why I said, and I'm gonna just pass it. That's why I said that those prosecutors would have been fired if they were all black women trying to do that, because they failed spectacularly in front of the world doing that, and now they backtracking. Should never backtrack in the RICO case ever. Right. Ever.
They could have bailed out earlier. They didn't have to. They could have dropped these charges before they even went to court. But they were so hell bent on them fooling the masses of people, and they did a good job, because they got some strong supporters out there just running around. Diddy did, and Diddy's going, but they're overlooking the point. We don't care if Diddy go or don't go.
Right.
Fair justice, right? But these people, and they make you wonder, if you so hell bent on keep coming after this man and you overlooking fair justice, it shows a lot about your character. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. Now, and what's the biggest thing to me? This what got everything elevated, blown up. And we got the agree. When those mansions got hit by air, sea, and land.
Wow.
When you had them climbing down the roof, crashing through windows, right? You know what I'm saying? People in scuba gear. And people speculated for what, a year, 8 months to a year or something. Oh, yeah, they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil that was laced. That was laced.
Laced.
They got all these video things, tapes and stuff of his. What? All these videos came off Cassie's phone. He didn't come from that house. So now whether Diddy filmed it on that is irrelevant. We talking about what was these raised for? And typically, when you deal with the feds, people say, "Oh, they don't come after you unless they strongly have something."
Yeah, right.
They should have had something before that warrant was issued to let them come in and trash that man mansion. Now, whether you like them or not, they trashed them. Don't they owe you any respect to show you some evidence they got from it? Homeland Security could have spent with like 3 or 4 witnesses, 40 minutes total. The whole trial. You know, they'll just come on and give a paragraph, then bye, they gone. And the only evidence I think they could have talked about is they was in his bedroom and what they observed. Now, you didn't observe a bed in there, curtains, dresser, clothes in the closet, a dildo, baby oil, a pair of 7-inch heels.
Incredible.
So is that on your report? Three mansions, right? You get 3 mansions, and that's all you got?
Wow.
I mean, look, that's a red flag, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a red flag. When that happened like that, something's wrong. That's all the evidence you got. So now that went through him threw him under. And I think when they first started, they thought they was gonna get evidence from these mansions.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, you had faded out for a second.
Yeah. So the thing is, I've been trying to talk. So you asked a question, should they let him go? See, the thing is, I wanted you brought good points up about the raid. So the thing is, when they raided his house, it's a lot of things that I seen that was wrong. First of all, you detained a bunch of people and put them in cuffs, put them on their knees. When that search warrant come, if you can pull a search warrant up, it should be in records. You go look for specific things that's in there. And a lot of things that they was looking for, they couldn't find. You mess with wrong people, you detain them for a long time. And we should have known that the baby oil went lace. We should have known the guns that they found with the saw or with the Syrian number stretched off was bull crap, because Diddy would have went to jail from the airport. You get what I'm saying? It was smoke and mirrors. So they found guns. They just that. If they would have found guns that they literally could have got him on that was in that security room, they would have arrested him that day, and we wouldn't be hollering, let Diddy go, because he would have got hit on weapon charge. He would have got his 10 years, 20 years, because you saw some off on our AR-15. He'd have been gone. We ain't need to worry about no sex trafficking and none of that stuff. So should he be released just because of what went on at his house? Yes. No different how they presented the case in the OJ case when it was talking about the DNA was spoiled. It wasn't handled properly. I remember this from a little boy. I don't forget nothing. So the thing is, I'm just talking about the mansion in Florida. They handled that case wrong. And what I really think what these folks is trying to do is they painted a good picture so we could run with it for a whole year. With a whole year, and people making tons of money off of it. But the thing is with Diddy is they want him. I really believe they went there looking for something, hoping they could retrieve it. And if they would have got it, he'd be checkmate. But like I said earlier, Diddy is not no dumb cookie. And they know they can't press his button. He been around too long by too many big wigs. He is not no dumb cookie. You ain't gonna catch him like that. I don't think he going down.
Well,
I don't.
You know what, though? I don't think he's going down, because look, just from the standpoint, even whether they dropped those charges this morning, drop them down, it's hard for me to think that 12 people gonna agree to this RICO thing. Because I get it, and I, respect somebody else's opinion. If you feel the other way, I respect that. I just disagree. Because you basing your opinion on what you have experienced in life, the things you have seen. But my opinion is coming from the things I've learned through the course of my life and the things I have seen from my experience. So no disrespect to it, and we can agree to disagree. I think it's hard to find 12 jurors that's going to say he's guilty. You only take one.
And I agree with you, because if I was on the jury, the first thing I'm gonna ask myself before I hear anything when they get to talking in deliberation in the jury, what is the purpose and the reasons why they wanted to arrest him? What happened during the timeline before he got arrested? Okay, your wife brought up Diageo, you brought up a Cassie lawsuit. 2 weeks later, he started getting investigated by the feds. That's in the front of my mind right there. So why is they on this man that much? And no matter what they say, do or when, what, and why, if he ain't killed, raped the kid, or had underground tunnels, and he did some domestic stuff going on, and they keep coming back, and they live in that junky world, guess what? If you can't send him to some rehab and give him some psychological help like you do the other kind, guess what? I'm marking not guilty on every panel that you got just because you trying to frame this man on something. I don't never want to say he deserves something, because if he deserves something, that woman went and got that 30 million. If he deserves something, the other women wouldn't try to sue. If he deserves something, why they didn't go to the police in the beginning, and he would have been gone.
Exactly. Good point.
Yeah, because they wouldn't go to the authorities because they were the ones that was doing it. You know, these people were opportunists.
Hold on. 1 second, then I'm gonna let you finish.
Yes, sir.
Now, because you know, social media, if you use that word, say grape or R, okay? I mean, just to try to keep it
right.
The language that you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, I said grifters.
Okay, good. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I was calling them were opportunist grifters, right? These industry ladies of the evening, right? They are industry. We acting like these people don't have any type of history, right? So the defense still is playing with what's called kid gloves with them, and they still look terrible, right? How bad can you look? And people trying to, they hugging them. Look, they're treating them so nice. That's why I try to get them to understand. I'm so glad that you do that. But I've been in federal prisons. Not federal prison, but federal courtrooms. I've seen how they operate. I've seen what they do. They don't normally operate like this. They only do all this kind of weaving and bobbing and all this stuff because he got all that money. Normally, when you get somebody up on these RICO charges, they normally take a public defender. And let me tell you, those public defenders are not bad in the face. They're not bad. The problem of that is that when you have a RICO case and you get it with this, we're gonna what you call it? We're gonna exclude. We're gonna change this from baby oil. But we know what we're really talking about when we talking about us. It ain't baby oil when it's us. But when they do go and get that, that was the thing. Remember. And remember, they had to come in because Obama came in, had to knock some of that stuff down because of the disparity, right? The disparity was so big that right there had a big impact on the RICO case. Because when you have that disparity, the disparity is this and this. And look, the disparity was that so much for that, right? This, right? And you get that much time. Okay. So try to break that down. But the main thing it was that the conspiracy is 10 to life. People got to understand what this means. 10 to life for these conspiracies. That means you could possibly tell on your mama, daddy, and uncle and still get 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Because it's up to the judge. It's up to the judge to give you that. And what Puff has is he has attorneys that really was fighting on appeal. They was fighting for an appeal. They still just fighting for an appeal. But for him to even get this today, it just goes to show about what. Right. They want him at all costs, which is why they wanted the RICO in. That's why when they did that raid, we saw U.S. Marshals. If you saw that movie, you saw U.S. Marshals. You see how the Marshals do. The Marshals are the one that raid you. They took Homeland Security. Look, everything they did was outside of bounds. Everything they did was because we can. Everything they did was because, well, you know what, we still can do it. It's not really that bad. But we don't see Homeland Security doing that. They're doing it now, but they didn't do that prior to that right there. It was the U.S. Marshal.
They're doing it now. They're doing it now. They starting to do it now. I know 1 or 2 cases in my state that they're doing it now. So they have moved the goalposts with Homeland Security. They are now leading investigation with the feds. I don't know what's going on, but I never seen that ever in my life.
Right, bro. So what I was saying, they're doing that now. And see, as the goalposts move, it expands to get us. Because look, every time that you do something with any type of criminal justice reform that's aimed at, you know what I'm saying, the black community, you always see the government, and it's always the feds that always practice. They always expand the departments. ATF, they're gonna expand the CIA, they're gonna suspend this, right? They're gonna always expand that right there because every time they try to do something, because look, they basically Diddy is a what you call it, a experimental case, bro. Like you were saying, Diddy is an experimental case, and for us, alarm bells was going up. People understand. We the people. We tread Scott. Listen, we are them same people. These people don't really get it. When you say Frederick Douglass and you say people like that,
Mhm.
dumb people. We done been in American court system for 500 years. And they'll come here and they'll go to school, right? They'll go get 5 degrees, and you know what I'm saying, and try to tell us something about a Dred Scott. You have somebody come here 2 years, graduated, someone, let me tell you about Dred Scott. We're like, look here, bro, you don't got to tell us about Dred Scott. You're talking about a RICO case. The
See,
lady, yeah,
that's
go
the
ahead, bro.
biggest thing. I don't mean to cut you off either. That's the biggest thing. See, people act like he's sitting here fighting a weapons charge or him having possession of pharmaceuticals of personal use. We're not doing that. We fighting the big thing that they souped up these charges to try to take this man money. Let's keep it real. If they would have proved the RICO, they could have went and started taking his businesses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wouldn't happen to the normal guy, but if you got a house and whatever, they could say you got an enterprise. If you let them set this standard, but then you get some people right now that says right now, I'm looking at chat, but Perry, facts has been presented in court. I say RICO did it. Okay, yes, facts have been presented. Weak facts. The facts are so weak that the prosecution had to dial them back.
Which
They
never
had to dial their own charges back.
never
Well,
happens.
what you seen you seen in court when one of the accountants got up there, and I can remember they was trying to go into the way he did his taxes and the business. He was explaining the business and how Bad Boy, Sean John, and all that, and he had like a joint venture with all these other companies. And so they was trying to say how he was doing it, and the guy said, "Oh no, he does his paperwork right, but he like." Pup Daddy was like PD was like a CEO, meaning that he partnered with other companies, meaning that they have their own ownership and vice versa. And how it went is like basically he just partnership with other companies. So by him partnership with other companies, he don't own them companies. He don't own anything with Ciroc. He like even with Bad Boys, even with Revolt, like people don't understand that. That's why the feds couldn't hit him that way, but they'll muddy the water and leave it. That's why these jury's instructions, the defense want them correct, and the prosecution want them a different way because they want to leave it to the determination. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the kidnapping charge. Reason why they didn't put the kidnapping charge in there, they went on ahead and dropped it, is because they would have had to put jury instructions that led from New York and California, also with even with the arson, because there was like a state charge, and they would have had to deliver other stuff to put into that packet where they were confusing. So they brought that weak case. They brought that weak case and hope it was gonna stick, and it's never gonna stick. Like it's like oil and water.
This is my logic why they dropped it, right? They'll come out. We want to make it simple for the jury, right? And we don't want to argue this. When the defense laid their argument out 29 yesterday, when they laid it out, they pretty much told the prosecution why it wasn't kidnapping. See, it's only kidnapping if you restrain and keep person from seeking help. This girl was drugged a couple feet. Don't condone it, right? But when they show a small clip, people assume she was drugged back into the room and forced to have SES. But that didn't happen. Diddy came out, grabbed his bag, went back in there. So now they can argue he wasn't kidnapping her. He was getting his phone back. He came back, got his phone, and then he sat down there and she was arguing back at him. Now, rightfully so, after he don't drug her or whatnot, I'm not going to get into that DV situation. But she made a phone call. Security came up. He restrained her from seeking help, and then she went home
and tried to come back.
He told them not to press.
She tried to come back. You forgot that part. She tried to come back the same night. You forgot that. They told her they don't think it would have been best.
You know what though? I did forget that part.
Yeah,
because I got so caught up with the kidnapping thing. She went home, but you got people saying no, that's what happened. But look, now going back to my point, the reason why I think the prosecution is dialing that back now, because say we're on the jury, right? And you got all these charges you get to look at. Once I realized you lied about that kidnapping, and I say, no, that wasn't kidnapping. And then I go down to the arson that nobody was ever charged for. Nobody. And then the cocktail bottle had a woman's DNA on it, right? And how
And they
much
do that.
I'm concerned it's the ex-girlfriend, or could it be Cassie's? Because some
But
women want guys to fight over them.
well, you got to realize during that time, Kid Cudi was the hottest in the game at that time when that happened. How would you know it ain't come from somebody else?
Right.
Like
You don't think he had other women too? You think he just had Cassie? Come on now.
Exactly. And so females,
Exactly.
I think it was Callie Nola and some other people bring it up. It could have been his ex-girlfriend's upset that now he over there in the hotel with Cassie. And you know, back then, exactly what they do. They'll knock out your windows. When girls get mad, they'll slash your tires. You know what I mean?
Right.
They take out your vehicle. And but
Man.
no, Diddy did it, and people want to make it seem like Diddy car was there. Now he went in his house. I guess he didn't break in and just walked in. His car was there when the cop had said that he seen the license plate. That wasn't on the same day as the arson. That was a month apart. Huh? Go ahead.
Wait, well, you got to look at Cassie. Cassie is to me seem like a master manipulator. She seemed like the type where it's like a like your children's mother put you on child support, and they know you take care of your child, and it went too far. But going back to Kid Cudi car, you know, I always thought even before it came back with women DNA, when Diddy and her and him in that altercation want to fight, and she probably throwing his name in Diddy face and vice versa, and she playing both sides, master manipulator. That's how I feel. How you don't know that she ain't the one that, you know what, I'm gonna fix Puff, or I'm gonna fix him, or he want to go mess the other woman? Bam, take the. How you don't know that she didn't do that?
And so check this out. Now, these are things I be dealing with. Like somebody in the chat right now says, "Y'all silly. Diddy broke into his crib and opened his gifts." Okay, if we was to believe the police report, they showed no signs of breaking and entering.
Hey, look,
Diddy, the word pretty much say Diddy was in the house, but could Diddy have the door been open and he just walked in? Was it trespassing?
they already proved that the door. That he already said that the door was unlocked, so that it's not called breaking it in; it's called trespassing. And the answer the person in the chat. If you know, you can make anybody mad. If a woman get mad, she'll go bust in the door and open somebody's gift. So don't act like women don't do the same thing.
Right. Bruh, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because what this case is also doing, it is revealing a hustle, right? It's revealing a hustle that females do. So females can just say anything. They can pick and choose any man they want. The ones they don't like, they can say whatever they want to them. The ones they do like, they can say whatever they want to them. But what Cassie them is really showing, they're showing the inner details of really a gold digger, right? Now,
Right.
we know what a gold digger is. We got an idea because, like I told you, we do this. This is how we do. We make songs even about gold digger. How many people that we done made songs about gold digger? EPMD, you name it. They done made a song about being a gold digger. That's why I keep telling these folks, man, we are the number one.
Hey, you missed one. You forgot the women got song like "F My Baby Daddy." You know,
Right.
I'm looking for them. Yeah, you know,
Right.
come on now.
Listen.
They
Right.
looking for that.
And that's what I'm saying. What we're getting is we're getting a master class on who they are, their alter ego. They always got an alter ego, right? When they celebrating, when they got songs, they got an alter ego. It takes a very, very disciplined woman to not take advantage of a man. Because a man is always going to be vulnerable when he's dealing with a female, because females are always in a weakened state because of our masculinity and our ability. So we have to understand that. We do understand that. We want to protect them. But in protecting them, you have to understand that we are in double jeopardy as black men dealing with that, with any woman of any type of race. All they got to do is say something about us, and I guarantee you, we're stunned. We're in a frozen state, just like, hey, whoa, let me call the police. Let me call the police. That right there is almost like the number 2 thing in the world when it comes to people and black men. I'm ready to call the police. But these people didn't call the police. Listen, they not only didn't call the police, they were actively talking to the police saying, don't do it, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden, everybody got these memories. They have memories of Diddy doing things. They start crying on there. They're getting mad. We're starting to see how certain women that will manipulate you, how they'll react when they're fronted with somebody that don't agree with them. The prosecution is all agreeing. Even the Diddy team is very, very nice to them. And like I said, you see the way they are failing spectacularly. People want to believe them because they say that just because they're women. It's like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to believe people just because of their sex.
Exactly.
You're discriminating based on just their sex and talking about that they're weak because Cassie got $20 million for this. She got another 10 million from the other folks. So give us a break here. We're not against women. We got children. We got daughters and everything, but we have to talk with this assurity to let people understand that we understand. Well, Rico, they got to understand. This is a Rico case. Who else have been in Rico more than us? Y'all are questioning this stuff and y'all are going at us because y'all reading something. Let you understand. A jury can even get it wrong. When you look, the lady, they had a lady case going on at the same time as Diddy. She got a case. The white lady and two of them. She killed by unalive officer, which was her husband. She been tried for the second time and she came out acquitted. They was out there having parties, and her husband is an officer.
But now, you're talking about the Reed case. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I think that she was being framed too, but it's my personal opinion. I think she was being framed. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, people want justice. I think justice was served, but actually, she went to court twice, so it must have been evidence. But you're right. Hey. People cheered for her for fair justice. But do you think people are gonna cheer when Diddy walk out? If he walk out, we just assuming that it's not gonna be 12 jurors that's gonna convict him. So if he walk out, go ahead.
Perry, let me tell you something about our culture. Perry, man, that man get out, walk out them doors. It might 6 or 8 months. That man gonna come out the hottest than he ever been. That's how we flip flop in our culture because of his status and his paper. Now, if he was somebody that was going broke, oh no, they gonna talk about him like a dog. Look at Offset. He got booed at his own concert in his own city. I never seen nothing like that. But Diddy, I don't think so. But let me ask y'all this. So let me bring it back to years ago, during the pandemic. Okay, I felt that when Trayvon Martin got killed and that police went in, and they told him do not follow him, and that boy ended up dead. I don't understand how the other communities sent that man money. They helped him pay his attorney, and we know for a fact that he was wrong. But we got a brother that's a multi-billionaire, and we don't need to scratch no more billions off of our community, right, wrong, or anything.
Right.
Why we can't say he wrong, but we gonna stand behind him and take care of our own people. But that man walked out, got the gun, sold the gun, still did some most crazy stuff that was worse than that. And this mother then lost her child because he went and got a Skittle and cold drink to watch an NBA championship game.
No.
And was on the phone with his old lady. But you got somebody that's want to do a little freak, however they want to do it. I ain't in their bedroom. But why we want this man to go to jail? But we know somebody that murdered somebody and get off, and we good with that. But y'all ain't talking about that. But we got everybody in the world in our community that's talking, and these folks sitting back there taking notes. They taking notes. We got them divided. The smart ones ain't gonna listen to them ones, and it's why they got us divided. Guess what they gonna do? We got them. Checkmate.
Right.
Checkmate.
And fellas, I'm gonna say this too, right? Because we still waiting. I think at noon Eastern they supposed to come in and go over these instructions, or maybe we'll get a decision on this Rule 29. But before, because I'm probably gonna bounce off in a few minutes, and then come back maybe an hour, right before we get into this, them going to court. But I want to thank you guys for popping up, because I'm saying this. I think we need to voice our opinions, and not because neither one of us think Diddy is innocent of everything. We just saying he should have a fair day in court. fair justice to everybody, right? And then when we were talking about the women and stuff like that, not all women are this way. Not all men
Exactly.
are bad, right? Let's keep it real, because people go, oh, these men ain't this, or these women. No, it's bad on either side. And we would just basically call it the way we see it. So if we was talking about 304s, we don't mean every woman. You know. But fellas, I want to thank y'all for coming up, and we'll be back. Probably we'll be popping on throughout the day, but I think you probably be on for at least maybe another hour, maybe right before they go to court on noon. So, but I just want people to hear from some men, because Diddy is a black man on trial, and why we feel a certain way. And I get it. Like halftime, we can't tell you how a woman would feel. Like a lot
Hey,
of them.
Mr. Perry, before you leave.
Yeah.
So this how I feel. Why the guy from Abercrombie & Fitch or wherever name that closing company, why he got a bond and why he get to play like he have Alzheimer's and the things that he done, and they got evidence of that?
Because we know, and I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, you know the answer already. We don't get treated fairly.
Yeah, but we dirty in water because somebody got some baby oil with nothing and they doing their thing.
Right.
Why we not talking about that? I want to see the same covers on that case, just like the Diddy case, from all the people that's against Diddy. Because some men's got abused in that too. So men can't get abused like a woman because they got taken advantage of.
Right.
I'm just saying, keep it real.
No, and that's definitely real. But I'm just saying, it could have been the same situation as Diddy's. That's what we talking about, the justice system. And it's not a race card. It's reality, is what we saying. And that's all there is to it. But fellas, I want to thank y'all for coming in, because Perry need to go and get him some coffee.
I big dog.
And
thank you, man.
Hey, thank you guys for coming up. And I got to hit my patio, a balcony or something. But fellas, I'll catch y'all in a little bit. Maybe an hour.
So that was some of the men talking about how they felt like Diddy was overcharged. And I believe the same thing too. That he was overcharged. And some of these things you have to try to tie yourself into a pretzel to even come to the point where they're not, for kidnap or whatever. So I'll probably pop back on this evening as we get more information about the case. Because I want to see what Girl is at Legal has to say about it. She's an attorney. So I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a great day. Bye.